Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to jump right into the cockpit during a super tense near miss, and we're going to use it to understand the simple but absolutely critical rules that keep our skies safe.
All right, I want you to imagine this. You're the pilot. You're flying under visual flight rules, that's VFR for short, cruising along at 5,500 feet. Suddenly, air traffic control crackles on the radio. They've got traffic for you. And then, you hear this about the other plane. He's all over the place. Yeah, not exactly what you want to hear up there.
So you spot the other plane on your traffic display. You do the right thing, you make a turn to avoid it. But then, the other plane turns too, right into your path. You try to correct, and unbelievably, they seem to mirror your move again. You can just feel the confusion in the pilot's voice when he says, "I think we're kind of chasing each other here." It's like you're locked in this weird, dangerous dance.
And this is where things get really scary. The situation just escalates fast. Every move you make to create some distance is somehow unintentionally countered by the other guy. And just like that, a routine flight turns into what the pilot himself calls a plain old game of chicken. We're talking thousands of feet in the air, where there are absolutely no second chances. Now, this isn't some made-up scene from a movie. Nope, this is from an actual cockpit recording. A real flight that almost went very, very wrong. It's just a perfect, chilling example of how even with all our amazing modern technology, a simple breakdown in the basic rules can lead to a seriously dangerous situation.
So it really makes you wonder, right? In this huge, vast, open sky, who's actually supposed to move? You know, a lot of people think air traffic control is like this all-seeing eye, directing every single plane's move like a puppet master. And while that's true sometimes, a lot of the time, the responsibility falls squarely on the pilots themselves. It's called see and avoid, and it's all guided by a very clear set of rules. Okay, so let's hit pause on that scary mid-air drama for just a second. We need to look at the fundamental rule that is designed to prevent this exact kind of scenario from ever happening in the first place. It's a big one, often just called the right-hand rule.
Here's the official rule, straight from the Federal Aviation Regulations. Don't worry, it's not complicated. It basically says, when aircraft are approaching each other head-on, each pilot shall alter their course to the right. I mean, it's just beautifully simple, right? No confusion, no ambiguity. You're coming at each other, you both turn right. Period.
So think of it like a really simple two-step dance. Step 1, two planes are approaching each other head-on. Step 2, each pilot turns their plane to the right. And that's it. The result? You pass each other safely. And, this is the most important part, you do it predictably. There's no guessing what the other person's going to do.
Okay, so now that we know this crystal clear rule, let's get back to our two pilots. What in the world went wrong up there? How did this simple rule just completely break down?
Well, here it is. This is the moment everything went wrong. Our pilot, the one whose recording we're listening to, did exactly what he was supposed to do. He followed the rule and turned right. But the other pilot? He turned left, directly into the path of our pilot. And that one single move, that one deviation from the plan, is what created this whole terrifying situation.
And what's really interesting is what our pilot said after the flight when he was analyzing what happened. He said, "I should have altered my course to the right and held it instead of giving in and turning to the left to avoid him." Think about that. He's admitting that even though the other guy made the first mistake, his own decision to react and break the protocol himself, to give in, just made everything more confusing and dangerous. It's a huge lesson. Sometimes the safest thing you can do is just stick to the rules because it makes you predictable.
So you can see how important that one rule is. But, it's not just an isolated instruction. It's actually part of a whole system of rules designed to keep things orderly and safe up there. Let's take a quick look at a few other key ones.
So, for example, if two planes are converging from different directions, the rule is simple. The plane that has the other one on its right has to give way. Kind of like at a four-way stop. If you're overtaking a slower plane, well, they have the right of way. You, the faster one, have to pass them on the right. And when it comes to landing, any aircraft on final approach gets top priority. But you see the theme here? It's all about that core principle. If you have the right of way, your only job is to be a rock. Just maintain your course and speed. Be predictable.
So, after all that, what's the big lesson here? What's the ultimate takeaway from this pilot's super stressful day at the office? Well, our pilot really nailed it.
He said that all this new technology, like ADS-B, which basically shows you other planes on a screen in your cockpit, is incredible. It gives you amazing awareness of what's around you. But, and this is the huge takeaway, it is not and never will be a substitute for knowing the fundamental rules of the sky. And it definitely doesn't replace the most basic pilot skill of all, just looking out the window.
And really, that's why stories like this are so important to share. I love what he said here, we're all learning with each flight we go on. Because some lessons, you just can't get them from a book or a simulator. You have to experience them in the real world, where the stakes are real. That's when you truly understand why these simple rules are so important.
So it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? What are the invisible rules that keep your world from colliding? I mean, think about just walking down a crowded street or merging onto a highway. Our entire world is run by these simple, unspoken agreements that just prevent total chaos. The rules of the sky? They're really just a much more high-stakes version of the same thing. The invisible systems that keep us all safe.